Hare Krishna. Today's lecture, which we are going to cover, is Krishna Katha and its glories. Welcome to this. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presta Bhutale Srimati Loknath Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Praschani Nirvasya Shunyavadi Paschati Desa Tarani Namo Mahavandene Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Nama Gaurtavasya Nama Namo Brahmaya Deva Go Brahmaya Hitya Cha Jagaditya Krishna Govindo Namo Nama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. By humbly bowing to all of you, I wish to express my gratitude to Mayapur Institute, all Vaishnavas assembled here, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, my Guru Maharaj, Sudama Prabhu, Padma Sundari Mataji, and by their Kripa, Karuna, have got this opportunity to put my tongue to the service of the Lord. Wish to offer my humble obeisances to the feet of all the Vaishnavas present today and take the dust from their feet and put it on my head. Please bless me. Please protect me. Hare Krishna. Today we are going to cover gist of Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha, the bridge between Gyan and Bhakti. Krishna, exercise on Krishna Katha, which we'll do a small exercise to see what the Krishna Katha is about. We'll talk about the glories of Krishna Katha and the practical application of Krishna Katha in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada's mood and mission, and towards the end, the summary. Before I start, I would like to go back to my childhood days. I remember, when I started speaking, I was in Arambagh in West Bengal. And though belonging to a Punjabi family, I started speaking Bangla. And there used to be people in the neighborhood who would come, and as a child of 3, they would share with me stories of Krishna Katha. I remember our uncle who was there, who had gifted me a Bangla comic of Ramayana. It was, I think, a 20-page color thing. I'm talking of 1972, 73 type of days. And he would read it out to me. And I would never go to sleep unless and until my mother would, share the stories from Krishna Katha or from Ramayana. And as a matter of rule, I would never let it happen that I was literally, addicted to it. Whenever I would be having fever, I would ask for a double dose of those kathas. And I think this is something which is the root of our entire sanskars. It is not me as an exception. It is something which has been there with each one of you, I'm sure. And it has been going for thousands of years. And this is what actually brings us to the root foundation of having an association, having a relationship with the Almighty before even we address Bhagavad Gita. So when we ultimately address Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, we ultimately are in a position that a foundation has already happened through Krishna Kathas, through Ram Katha, all these things. What is the gist of Krishna Katha? What we are doing this entire course, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, the entire thing end to end is nothing but Krishna Katha. It is Lord himself in word form. It is non-different from Krishna. Maharaj Parishad attained salvation by just listening to it. It is the path of total liberation. It is the essence of all Vedantas and Puranas. We all know before the Kali Yuga started, Vyasji had said, the Vedas are too complicated, and in the mind of the people in the Kali Yuga, they will not be able to understand it. They will not be able to relish it. They will not be able to use it. Hence, the Bhagavad Mahapuran was created. And the emphasis was given on the stories of Lord so that we could learn from it. We could learn from the 64 gunas of Lord Krishna, which are all scattered, embodied all over beautifully like nectar. It is a final word in knowledge you all know, and goal is to achieve devotional service at the footsteps of Lord Krishna. Before moving ahead, I'd like to share with you that Krishna Katha is the bridge between Gyan and Bhakti. You know, we may read a lot of Vedas, lot of things, but unless and until with Prem Bhav, Krishna Katha is not attached, Bhakti will not flourish. All of you are here. I would like to ask you, can you share with me some names of some asuras who were great and knowledgeable, highly knowledgeable in terms of the Vedas are concerned, but still they did not achieve Bhakti? Can you give me some example of some asuras, please?
Vishwamitra Muni could not achieve Krishna Bhakti.
Yes, any more?
Ravana.
Absolutely right. Ravana was there, Meghdut was there, you know, likewise many of them were there who had all the knowledge, but without Krishna Katha, with Prem, Bhakti was not achieved. So it was all to notch. So hence we need to understand that this is so important. Without it, we are not really moving ahead. Now we will do exercise on Krishna Katha and how only Gyan compares with Krishna Katha, how it compares. We will do an exercise, right? We all of you know that there are 5 levels in terms of bhakti is concerned. Madhurya ras is there, different 5 rasas are there. Now, when we read about these 5 rasas in Bhagavad Gita, in the commentary of Prabhupada, you know, we are not able to correlate, you know, what it is. But when there is a katha which comes in, there is an immediate click which happens. I'll just try to do that demonstration in front of you through 5 slides, whereby we'll move from one ras to the second to third to fourth to fifth. And we will see that if we are just talking about the subject of those rasas, without linking it with the katha, we are not able to really get it. You may be able to get it because you are all very much into this line, but I'll just show you a demonstration. The first rasa is Shant rasa, right? When it comes to Shant rasa, it is mukti from manoranjan. We're not interested in entertainment. Mukti from tasty food, not interested in tasty food. Whatever we get, we'll eat. Mukti from clothes, whether I have clothes or no clothes, will work out, no problem. Mukti from expectations of respect. Somebody, you know, throws things at me, somebody urinates at me, I'm above it. Mukti from staying in big houses, only manan and chintan. However, no seva. So what is the example? Can you give me some example? I'm sure you know it. But once I share the katha, you will just click. Can anyone give me one example? Yes, 4 Kumars, Rishabh Dev. Now you see Rishabh Dev. We have done 4 chapters in Canto 5 on Rishabh Dev. And when you see Rishabh Dev, how it is mentioned about it, what type of a life he had left, reading those 4 chapters, you know, there are tears that start coming in. And when Lord Rama and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, what is the symptom of actual love for Almighty? And what is it? What is that one thing which ultimately drives you to and attracted towards the devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Rama had said one thing: tears. When you cry for me, then I'm attracted towards that devotee. So likewise, we see when we read about Rishabh Dev, there are tears about the type of penance, the type of, austerities he went through. So the entire katha gets reflected, and then we are able to see what this ras is all about. Now we will move to the second level, whereby first level is there, first plus second. What is that? This is basically, if it was number 5, now we are moving to number 4, then 3, then 2 and 1. This is Dasya Ras. You all know Dasya Ras. What are the traits? Shant Ras is already there in that. Seva is there. However, there is no great amount of mamta. No playfulness. Oh, Krishna is my friend, Ram is my friend. No, that playfulness is not there. Right? Example is Hanuman. The moment the Hanuman Katha comes in, the entire elaboration of Hanuman Katha, then we are able to, oh, this is what that Dasya Ras is all about. Right? Now we move one level ahead. So I'm trying to link the Krishna Kathas vis-a-vis the subject part, the Gyan part. So we are now moving to number 3 level. Sakha Ras. Right? So he treats himself at the same level as the Lord. This is what we have said from a Gyan point of view. Not afraid of the Lord. When you read, you feel disconnected, How come somebody will not be afraid of the Lord? He feels if I leave him, who will play with him? Who will play with him? Eh? There will be nobody to play with him. This is how the Sakha Ras is. There is playfulness as a friend. Example is Gopas of Braj. And once we come to the Katha, then this entire thing links. What is the Katha? Katha is, one of the Kathas is when Lord Krishna is holding the Govardhan in his little finger. His Sakhas are also putting the bamboo sticks and saying, look, I am more stronger than Krishna. I am taller than Krishna. I am older than Krishna. Okay, Krishna, I'll help you. So we are able to translate that Gyan into the actual form of purity, which ultimately washes our hearts and then ultimately takes us with clarity towards Lord. So this is what it is. This is what the Katha angle. The right side I'm talking about is the Gyan angle. The left side is the Katha angle. Combined together is what it is. Next, what is the next level? Vatsalya Ras. Oh, if you read about Vatsalya Ras, giving Lord something to eat. If I don't give him to eat, what will happen to him? He will be hungry. What will happen? Who will take care of him? And Vatsalya Ras, what happens? The mother or the father, whosoever it is, protects and prays for the Lord. Hey, Lord, please protect my child. The child himself is the Lord. Protect him from ghost. That is the level of purity. They say in ISKCON, purity is the force. What is that purity? This is the purity. This is the purity of the force. Praying to the Almighty for the Almighty to protect him from ghosts, from demons, from asuras. And waking up the Lord, putting him to sleep. If I don't put him to sleep, then what will happen? This is what is the force of purity. Scolding him also. Doing this thing wrong, doing that thing wrong, punishing him also. Right? So this is the Gyan part of it. Now, the moment you click it, Mata Yashoda. You see, Mata Yashoda is running with a stick in her hand. But the beauty is she doesn't hit him. Have you seen any painting of Mata Yashoda actually hitting him? No, she doesn't do that. She's creating that fear and that's what it is. The Katha comes in. And then we realize, look, if I have to take that same level of love as Mata Yashoda, this is what it is. Next, we come to the highest level. All of you know, Madhurya Ras. Leela Madhurya, undualating ocean of astonishing pastime. Prem Madhurya is surrounded by devotees who possess incomparable Madhurya Prem. Venu Madhurya, his flute, attracts everybody. Rupa Madhurya, extraordinary beauty, right? Now, this is something honestly, I don't understand any of the 5s, but getting some nectars and listening to Guru and being in the companies of the Vaishnavas, Radharani Gopanga. Look at Lord. This is what Madhuri Rasa. So you are able to correlate what is the difference between Krishna Katha and Gyan. So this is how, the Acharyas have put it together. Now we will move to the next level. Krishna Katha. The Krishna Katha is one. Basically, it helps to see the Lord face to face. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.29.38. Sochirat eva rajasriya, sochiras eva rajasriya, sayad achutya kathasapriya, sharanavat shraddhayanasya, nityada sayad adhyata. O best of king, one who is faithful, who is always hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of God, very soon becomes eligible to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. This is what Narad is telling, Naradji is telling to Prachinabhari in the 4th canto. So this is what the glory is. You will be able to see him face to face. Next we see Srimad Bhagavatam 4.22.22. Sasasradhya Raghavadharam Charyana Jijanasya Yoga Nisthaya Yogeshwara Priya Cha Nityam Punya Sarva Katha Katha Punya Cha. What does it say? It says attachment for the Supreme can be increased by practicing devotional services, by hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So attachment can be increased by hearing. So our ultimate objective is that. This is what Prithu Maharaj is when he's sitting with the 4 Kumars. This is what is coming over there. Next, when we see the narration from Dhruv Maharaj. When Narad Muni is glorifying Dhruv Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.12.46. Srutavittika Shraddhaya Bhikshanam Achyutya Priya Se Stitam Bhaved Bhaktir Bhagavati Yayasvat Elista Sankasham. Anyone who hears the narration of Dhruv Maharaj, in which Lord is also personally present, and who repeatedly tries with faith and devotion to understand his pure character, attains pure devotional platform, and executes pure devotional services. By such activities, one can diminish the threefold miserable conditions of material life. So, the Krishna Katha, in which Krishna is there, his devotees are there, the entire context is there. When this type of situation is read, when we hear, and we hear repeatedly, we hear with faith, we hear with prem, we hear with understanding, with love, what happens? The threefold miseries which are there of conditioned material life can be eliminated. Now I'll talk about Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20-25 and also 24, where in the praise of Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj says that give me a millions of years to hear about your glories from the mouth of your devotees. Give me millions of years to hear about your glories from pure devotees. Vidhatsva karnayasam nevaraha, which is basically give me millions of years. So this is what the purest of devotees are asking for, that give me so many ears. So we should try to understand that how much and what priority it is there in terms of hearing this transcendental vibration from the mouth of great devotees. And devotees, by doing this, thus gradually come to the right conclusion and values of life, which is the ultimate objective of human birth. So this is what Krishna Katha is all about. Now we will see what are the 4 effects of hearing the Krishna Katha. All material hankerings are satisfied. We do not have any envy towards others. No fear or anxiety is there. And Narayan is personally present there. This is what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.30.35, 36. So Krishna Katha hearing, the point of the matter is we have to believe when we are doing this now, Krishna is actually, he is present. It helps in so much of purification that there is no question of stress, there is no question of anxiety. And there is no envy towards others. So this is what the entire power is all about. And I would say Krishna Katha is so much required in today's Kali Yuga, in today's environment of stress, today's environment of corporate world. And this is, I think, a one-point solution whereby we can actually really get away, whereby, I have also been into a medical practitioner and seeing these days almost out of 10 patients, 6 to 7 of them are having depression. And the answer lies into this. Starts from childhood sanskars and starts from having attachment and devotion to Almighty. And the best way is through Krishna Katha, through which you can relate to. Otherwise, what happens is, when you are doing Mala Jap, you're doing Mala, Hare Krishna, and your mind is somewhere else, detour. At least in Krishna Katha, that is also very much required. But in Krishna Katha, you are able to dedicate, devote, and think without any wavering of mind to Lord. The other thing which is coming in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.24.77, in which Lord Shiva is talking in Rudra Gita, that you can acquire whatever you want. A human being who sings Rudra Gita, whereby the glories of Lord are there, Lord Shiva says, can acquire whatever he wants from the Supreme Lord. So this is the beauty. And the foremost of all the things, is written back to Vaikuntha. Any person who describes the great characteristics of King Pruthu, this is what it comes in Bhagavatam, with faith and determination, whether he reads or hears of them himself or helps others to hear of them. The point is, you see in red, whether he hears, he reads, or he makes others hear them, or he recites to them, is certain to attain. The word is certain, to attain the very planet of Maharaj Prithu. In other words, such a person returns back to Vaikuntha. So no wonder the Krishna book, the Canto 10 of Bhagavad Mahapurana, our founder Acharya, the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, he wrote it much before. He wrote it in 1970. He finished it in 1970. Such a voluminous book of 650 pages. He wrote it, he finished it in February 1970. So he must have started writing at it 2-3 years before that. So almost at the time when he was, leaving India, he must have started that. So he could not wait for the Canto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then come to Canto 10. He was very clear what it is, Krishna Katha. Bhagavad Gita also says somebody who hears about me is sure to come back to me. If you see again in Canto 4, 4.7.44, where demigods offer prayer to Lord during the sacrifice performed by Daksha, where everybody is saying something or the other, it says that Vididhra says, your transcendental activities are so powerful that if one engages in the hearing and chanting of such topics, he can be delivered from illusion. Today in Kali Yuga, almost everybody, at least including me, I'm still in illusion. We are in illusion, and the only way to basically get out of illusion, get out of this temporary Maya, is Krishna Katha. So one capsule has all the vitamins A to Z. So the definition of illusion as this there in the dictionary is an idea or belief that is not true, or something that is not what it seems to be. That is what illusion is. So this is our medicine to get out of illusion. Once we get out of illusion, we get into truth. When you get out of truth, it is Sat. And then we have association of people seeking Sat. It is Satsang. And that's how Prabhupada said, power of association. And that's what can lead us back to home, back to Godhead. Again, one very beautiful thing, very powerful. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.11. Lord enters our heart through Krishna Katha. He enters our heart, purifies us. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly, this is very important, is very eagerly, with love, hears narration of the Lord, powerful activities, the Lord in the form of sound, vibrations, enters the heart and then cleanses it of all contamination. You remember when you had read Brahma Samhita, when Lord Brahma was there when in the beginning of creation, how Lord entered when he was doing tap for 100 years of Brahma, Lord Brahma. So Krishna entered through the sound vibration and then gave him all the gyan. Right? Likewise, our acharyas have told us to chant it so that we can hear it. That's the power of sound vibration, is always being stressed. Even the quantum physics now, they say the entire universe is a vibration. It's all given over there. So we have been given the same benefit as was given to Lord Brahma. So we are in any way not being treated in any way less. So this is what is coming in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.11. Lord will enter. So you listen to the kathas and you invite him to sit in your heart. What else you need? The formulas are all ready. This is when the context is prayers offered by the Lord to the Lord by the residents of Jambu Dvipa. That's why on the left side you see the map of Jambu Dvipa. Ultimate goal of life. Maharaj Prithu gets into Vanaprastha. This comes in Canto 4.23. He says that Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, and that unless the yogis and the jnanis become attracted to Krishna Katha, their illusion concerning existence can never be dispelled. So unless and until the yogis and the jnanis are attracted, the word is coming attracted, prem, bhav, eagerness, You see, this is what is coming again and again. Any type of a stereotype attitude without that love and happiness of taking Krishna Katha as Krishna himself will not help. So again, you say is coming attracted. So the Bhagavatam is full of everything, and it says again and again. Here and now it says, will be relieved of all sinful activities by regular hearing. Canto 6, chapter 13, 22, 23. You will be relieved of all sinful activities. What else? There is a bumper 100% sale going on. 100% discount. So what does it say? One will also be relieved of all sinful reactions. He will conquer all his enemies. Duration of his life will increase by regularly hearing. So much is the love of Krishna Katha. Now you see, so this is what was coming in the Bhagavatam, and now we'll see what Sakand Puran says. Sakand Puran, all you know, is 80,000 verses. The Supreme Lord told Brahma, "O grandfather Brahma, one should regularly hear the famous Srimad Bhagavatam with faith. Know for certain that such hearing is the only means of satisfying me." He says the only means of satisfying me. He says to Brahma, "My dear son, one who daily reads the Srimad Bhagavatam with full concentration, full concentration, attains the results of the entire 18 Puranas. In Kali Yuga, wherever the auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam is recited, I reside along with all the demigods." The Lord is residing here. Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.15. What it says? Srimad Bhagavatam in this clause is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from this nectarian mellow will never be attracted towards any other literature. The Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the process of transcendental knowledge or renunciation, and one becomes completely liberated. This was there in Canto 4 also, now it's coming again in Canto 12. We just talked about Krishna gets established in the heart. It's coming again in Canto 1. The same thing is again coming. So you see, this is what it is. And as I was mentioning to you earlier, talking about Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, he was very, very clear about it. And so you see, that's why, as I mentioned to you earlier, Canto 10 was written in the form of book Krishna much before the entire Bhagavatam process could actually, start with Canto 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then come to 10. No, Prabhupada said, let me do. This is the message in itself, that what Prabhupada attached to it. In one of the letters, what does he say? July 29, 1972. In Amsterdam, he says, everywhere, wherever Krishna Katha is spoken, that is Vaikuntha. So we're sitting in Vaikuntha. We have to, accept our acharyas. And then in another letter, what does he say? Just as Krishna is all attractive, principle, so simply these Krishna Kathas. Now I would talk about some practical applications of Krishna Katha in Kali Yuga. And I will go on talking about it. And in the time which we have, I will request participation from all of you again, as we did in the beginning, to come and please support me and give some examples. As I mentioned, in Kali Yuga, our attention span is very less. While chanting, we start drifting from the Maha Mantra, while Katha attracts us, and we do not lose our focus. Anybody would like to say anything about this? Please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is so true. Like in my hand, I've got my beads, but I'm so attracted by what you're saying. So yeah, the chanting is amazing, but because you're doing it by yourself, and obviously, you know, it's you have so you need such deep focus. But with Katha, it's just amazing because you're hearing it, and it's so amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, always keep listening. Always keep listening. Use this headphone while you're driving, traveling, walking. Keep on listening. Anybody would like to share any of your personal experiences on this? Yeah, Sham Gopinath Prabhu, please just
Yeah,
talk. Just I can't
yes,
see
yes.
your hands. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. So basically, today's life, corporate life is so busy and full of stress that it's very difficult sometimes to even chant with concentration, focus on the holy name. But but at least we can start the katha in the car, or we can just have a pod or a earphone and keep listening while we travel, or while we have some free time in the office. At least we can do that, because today we are spending around most of us spend around 13-14 hours a day in our work life. Making money is so difficult. So yeah, and even when you come home, there is so much stress at home. um, so Krishna Katha is something which just keeps running through the ear pod, just goes through the ears, and it soothes you, and you are ready to face the stresses of life. Yeah,
So
thank you, Babu.
beautiful, bro. So beautiful. Thank you so much for elaborating that point. The next point is modern times have high depression rates. Krishna Katha makes my mind peaceful. As a medical practitioner, I have shared with you, this has really worked. I would like to get some experiences from all of you. Vaishnavas over here, your experience on this. Please share.
Okay, I've had like lots of heartbreaks in my life, and it leads to so much like sadness sometimes. But then when you hear Krishna Katha, it's like it slowly starts to have an impact, and it starts to give us that love and that happiness back, and because we associate with the Lord through the words. So yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Love and
Hare
happiness
Krishna.
is what it comes out. Yeah, please, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
During my work life, when I had been set up with so many targets, non-interest income, loan portfolio, etc., recovery, I had a lot of pressure, and I had to work that type 40, 15 hours per day. And even coming at home also, I had called up the load customers. So in those time, I had very little sleep. I had only depended on only this Krishna Japo, Nam Japo. I always insisted on this japo. At that time, I was traveling and doing japo. So at that time, Krishna consciousness or this mala japo helped me a lot, and I could come out of that crisis, and I fulfill my target also to my.
Lovely. Haribol, Haribol. Thank you so much for sharing your practical life example on that, how it helped you. Next is best way to preach and attract karmis. We are all karmis. At least I can talk about myself through Krishna Katha. Whenever you are in a group of karmis and you want to attract them, be a good preacher. Rather than picking up the Bhagavad Gita, probably if the story is being told and, then you're able to make them relate. We are all man buddhis, at least I can talk about myself in Kali Yuga. So this is something the Krishna Katha has a power to attract the karmis. Any one of you would like to please share about your experience of how you have been able to use preaching to attract karmis? Okay.
Hare Krishna. I teach in like in a
Yeah.
materialistic. I teach like materialistic, like material topics, and then I probably can't like speak Krishna Katha, in a like how we do in these groups, but if you just mention even to karmis or people that are and they don't know about these things, even if you just mention qualities that are described through Krishna Katha, they become attracted. because
Thank
it's so
you.
powerful.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah, please.
Yeah, while we interact with so many devotees in places like China, where people are not very interested in spiritual life, they are, when you start talking about stories from Mahabharata, Ramayana, with that we can connect a chord easily, easily, rather than directly going on to the philosophy. So through the simple stories, we can slowly connect them to the philosophy. That's what
Thank
I have
you.
experienced
Thank you.
in
So
Chinese
beautiful.
teaching.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I understand that and really appreciate that example of China which you gave. Really appreciate it. And one of the most difficult environment of China, if you have been able to do that with Krishna Katha, really speaks the glory. Next, we are talking about school and college. When we are going there, children are attracted. I had given my personal example also. If you're talking about modern Krsna Katha anchors, I'm really very indebted to Amar Chitra Katha, a lot of cartoons which keep on coming on Krishna, B.R. Chopra, so many serials have come, whatever we may say, they have done a great amount of service in terms of reaching every home, reaching every television set, dovetailing, as Prabhupada used to say, dovetailing them, people who would have never otherwise known about these values. And the sanskar goes to the child through them. And then they get open, their mind is open. And when then after maybe 5 years, 10 years, the Bhagavad Gita comes in front of them, they are more receptive. And so, as I said, we become very fertile ground in terms of picking up the Bhagavad Gita. And even different cultures, like just now, Sham Gopal Prabhu had just mentioned, China, Russia, Japan, Korea. And not last but the least, 64 qualities of Krishna, which are all embedded in the entire Krishna Kathas, we are able to imbibe them slowly, drop by drop. So these are some of the childhood sanskaras which all of us have got, and we keep on getting in the terms of the practical application is concerned. These are some of the serials which have been there, which ultimately make inroads, and dovetailing, as Prabhupada always mentioned, dovetailing everything which is available into Krishna's service, right? Now we'll come and quickly come to the summaries and conclusion of the glories of Krishna Katha. See the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Attachment to the Lord will increase. Diminish the threefold miserable conditions of material life. Remembering eternal relationship with Lord. All material hankerings are satisfied or rather lowered. No envy towards others. No fear or anxiety. Narayana is personally present there where we are now. And he gets to acquire whatever he wants, returns back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha, delivered from illusion. Lord enters one's heart through Krishna Katha and relief from all sinful reactions. These are some of the gist of what we discussed today. At the end, I would like to share my gratitude to all the devotees present here who have protected me during this conversation. My classmates, I would like to thank Sham Prabhu, Sudama Prabhu, Padma Sundari Mataji, Mayapuri Institute. Very grateful, very thankful, and feel blessed to be in a position to use my tongue to the service of Lord. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Can we ask questions, Prabhu?
Yeah. Request if there are any questions. If anybody has any questions, please. Yeah, Murti Sri Mataji.
Yes,
Please.
I have a question.
Yes.
That is, we slowly, you have said just now that we slowly imbibe the 64 qualities of Krishna through hearing. So what is the reference for this?
Reference is very simple, Mataji. Like we all know, quantity wise, we are not even an atom as compared to the Lord. But quality wise, we have been given the same benefit as Lord has in terms of the quality is concerned. So those 64 qualities are all lying silent, but Lord has given it. Getting an opportunity, a privilege to know what those 64 qualities is. The Krishna Katha is the best platform, at least to know what the various, acharyas have said about from the Krishna Katha. Try to imbibe them. That will help us to basically cleanse our heart. That's what it is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Karunarji Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My question is a very general question. Is that, suppose, what is the essential point to be attracted to hear Krishna Katha? Because I don't develop my affection to hear Krishna Katha. So how can you pursue me to hear Krishna Katha?
Prabhu, I am sorry, I could not hear you properly. What is the to hear Krishna Katha? What was that word? What is the
Sorry.
dash?
So my question is, I have no interest to hear Krishna Katha. So how can I develop my interest to hear Krishna Katha more and more?
The way to basically develop interest towards hearing Krishna Katha more and more, essentially speaking, is number one, to basically pray to the Almighty, pray to Krishna, and request his favor that you develop the taste. That is a step number one. Step number two is to be in the company of devotees, and pure souls, and be in their company and hear from those pure souls. These are the two steps which I think are there. There are many more which probably the Vaishnava sitting here can answer on that. But these are, I think, the primary the two steps. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, Padma Sundari Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranams. Thank you, Prabhu. I would like to know your experience and your life change because of Krishna.
My life experience and what changed, right? Mataji, as I mentioned to you, when I was small, 2 years, 3 years child, I used to listen to Krishna Katha daily before sleeping. And I remember when I was 3 years or 4 years of age, when I was sleeping, I remembered Lord Shiva came, he picked me up, put me on his lap, talked to me. So that is what it was when it started off. Then as I rolled up and moved up in life ahead, when I was 5 years, 6 years, I was literally addicted towards reading Amar Chitra Kathas, vis-a-vis all the stories which were there on Bhagavatam. The entire Bhagavatam series is there in Amar Chitra Katha. And some stories of Lord Rama, stories of Krishna. So I would keep on reading it, and when I would be reading it, I would be smiling it. Earlier, I could not read. I would just see the photographs. And my mother used to see and catch me. I remember when I was young, you are smiling, you are smiling. So Krishna, I remember, became a playmate for me while reading it. So I used to fantasize about him. I used to dream about him. And basically, while reading those kathas. And then the life story kept on going ahead. And today here we are reading in probably the most pure form of Srimad Bhagavatam and trying to learn from that. And so I would say every time I read and every time I go ahead, I realize that, I somehow realized myself coming from, when I did my Bhakti Shastri, I felt, before doing my Bhakti Shastri, I thought probably I knew Bhagavad Gita. After doing Bhakti Shastri, I realized, no, I'm zero on Bhagavad Gita. After doing Bhakti Vaibhav 1, I realized now I'm at minus 100. So every time I'm doing something, I'm coming to minus 200, minus 300. So I'm realizing my pitfalls more and more. So that is where it is. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, bro. There are people, my next question. There are people who hear and misuse the strength and the glories. So what is your comment on it?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Mataji, there are people who
Hear and misuse that.
misuse. Yeah. My Mataji, people who hear and misuse the glories, my comment is this, that, they are probably going and creating a karmic cycle. I can only pray for them. I can only, pray for them that they get the purity and they get out of it and use it for the purpose for which actually the acharyas have directed us. Otherwise, they are really creating a sin for themselves also, as well as the people who are following them. They're wasting their time also. It's a double sin which is happening. Hence, the Prabhupada has been very clear in terms of the parampara which we come to, and then stick to the parampara, follow and hear from pure devotees, and follow that lineage which is there. So I can only say that. Otherwise, I'm honestly speaking not really competent to say beyond this, because I myself.
Thank you, Prabhu. You can end it up. You can end it, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.